everybody. Welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Vincent, a background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today, we're going to talk about Hollywood 1 year after Janet quit her job at Disney.
But before we get into it, make sure to like this video, jingle, touch all our bells and buttons. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, 1 whole year, Janet. 1 whole year. It's been 1 whole year since you left. Man, 1 whole year ago, we were frantically recording a podcast about why you quit.
Yeah.
In the middle of my lunch break.
Yeah.
Man.
And, you know, we actually have tried recording a bunch of podcast episodes beforehand. That was, I want to say technically our fourth
or fifth.
Yeah. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is to actually film a podcast of you talking nonsense until you actually do it and you realize, oh, this is actually very difficult. So our first few attempts, months, years ago, even before our first podcast, was really bad.
Horrible. We wanted to do just an audio only podcast for a long time because we didn't want, like most artists on YouTube, don't look at my face. I am ashamed of what I see in the mirror.
Just look at our hands, our pretty hands. We get manicures. A lot of the girls do. And yeah, it was man, we were talking about how the art center really came out.
Yeah.
We were like, this is how it is. You are pushed off on the deep end and, you either sink or swim.
So we swam.
Yeah. We had to.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to.
So, 3 videos every week. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Monday, we have this podcast. Also, you're going to have a absolutely fantastic week. Thank you for joining us this lovely Monday. Such a great day today. You're looking fantastic.
We're all looking fantastic.
Yeah. You especially are looking absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. When has your man said that to you?
Oh my god.
When was the last time? Like pre-corona? I'm just kidding.
That's so mean.
I'll edit that out. So in this podcast, we're going to talk about how Janet's life was this entire year during Corona time. Basically, from the time you quit to present day, and comparing it to, the good luck that Disney has been having for the past year,
Yeah, totally. Such great
luck. Yeah.
I have to say, I feel like I am truly either like Elizabeth from Bioshock.
Like we mentioned in another podcast, that I have this theory that you are the controller of the simulation and you just don't know it, nor can you control it. You just think things and then they happen. Yeah. And you say things on this podcast and then they just happen. It's weird. It's freaky.
But yeah, so if everyone artists tend to live under a rock. So if you didn't know, Gina Carano was canceled.
Yes.
Yet again, but this time fired from The Mandalorian.
For real, not just fired. I think legit blackballed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to her talent agency dropped her
so that she could never work at least on this property ever again, the Star Wars property.
Yes. Yeah. And I had a few feelings about the whole thing, and I think the first thing is why is it happening now? Why?
Isn't that weird?
It's so the timing is a little weird. I guess we have to explain why she got fired.
Oh, that's right.
She retweeted someone else who was basically comparing what people do to the Republicans to what I guess
do the Jeremy thing where he calls them really bad people from World War II.
The really bad people from World War II, what they did to the Jewish people, basically just making comparisons. And so she didn't even really write this. She retweeted someone else saying this. And it's basically just criticism of the villains of World War II. And then, I don't know why, but people got really offended. I don't feel anything about that tweet. It's kind of accurate in my opinion.
I don't know. It's pretty accurate, actually. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like, it's 4 years of this. You won, and then you won, you fascist, and then you take this person's job away.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? This is beyond. This is crazy. This is so crazy.
You take this person's job away for her very benign political views. Like, I've never seen her do anything that upsetting. Like, genuinely.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of people on the right go like, she's wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Like, when you have like CNN and MSNBC just like constantly telling everyone that 75 million people are a bunch of really bad people from World War II.
Yeah. It's just weird because you won. And it goes to show you like what their priorities are. Yeah. It's like, for me, let's say like I were in charge of like hiring and firing and all that stuff. It doesn't really make sense when like, so like I haven't really watched The Mandalorian. I refuse ever since I quit my job at Disney, and you know, I have a little bit of like bad feelings and PTSD and bitterness behind all of it. I will not watch Disney Plus. I will not buy Disney Plus. I will not watch any Disney movie ever again, I don't think, because like, and I know that's really hard. I know that's really hard. Trust me, I've been living it. And like, that's the thing, like, you can't do anything to get me to watch another Marvel movie or another Disney movie or another Star Wars movie. I just won't. So I actually have not watched The Mandalorian. But from what I hear other people have said, that like she was great on the show, like, and she was like a beloved character, like people really liked her character. So it didn't make sense to me, like, you're putting Disney, now I'm talking about, you're putting your weird political virtue signaling in front of good storytelling. Why would you cancel a character, like fire a character?
You kind of had a good thing going, at least in the context of the show, right? Why would you sabotage something like that? Yeah.
So their priorities clearly are somewhere else.
Clearly not to give you good content or good stories.
And, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest, because I hate to say it yet again, because it seems like I say this pretty often on her podcast, but I told you so. And, you know, like, we were talking about this, like, just really, like, frustratedly talking about this, our feelings. And
in the morning.
Yeah.
Just probably the whole neighborhood probably.
We're just so...
We're just, like, passionate debate.
Annoyed. Yeah. But, like, I don't love telling people I told you so, like, over and over and over again. Like, it's...
You're not like most people who are just like, I told you so.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. At first,
I guess.
I kind of like, wow, I said something and then no one listened. Or they listened and they, like, still made poor decisions. And then now, at this point, though, I'm a little bit like, come on, you guys. Come on. Really? You still bought Disney Plus. After everything. Yeah. And I was just kind of like, wow. I guess it doesn't matter how many times I say I told you so. I still gotta say it. I still have to. I mean, I can keep doing this. I can keep doing this for a really long time. Like, people thought I would give up in like a few months. You
don't know, Janet. You fools! You thought she would give up? What a fucking joke! That's the biggest fucking joke I heard in my life. Woo! You thought she would give up? You thought this global pandemic would get to her? Big fucking mistake, motherfucker. You made a big fucking mistake. Big mistake.
There's truly no one who can convince me to do anything I don't want to do other than like myself.
Absolutely, not even me.
Yeah.
To be honest, when you have your heart set on something, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over for everybody else.
It's like the more you like do the Chinese finger trap thing, the like more you increase my willpower and drive. Like it's not helping. The reason why it doesn't surprise me in the slightest is because this is actually the first instance where I realized Disney's true colors as an adult who was already slowly starting to get disenfranchised. What's the word? Disaffected? I don't know. The facade of what Hollywood is started to
Disillusion.
fade. Yeah.
Disillusion, yeah.
It was when I think I was working at DreamWorks at the time. When I don't know if anyone remembers this. This was quite a few years ago. But Disney was getting into some hot water because Georgia at the time were doing some kind of pro-life thing push. Like they changed the laws so it's more pro-life. And a lot of films are shot in Georgia. And Bob Iger, CEO of Disney at the time, felt like he needed to make a statement because a lot of people who work for Disney were throwing a fit. They were like, we are pro-choice and we will not work in Georgia. I think everyone should go and revisit this interview that he does on like TV. He basically
we could point it right here. Is it that? Can we do that?
Oh,
right here. Right here?
your side.
Here.
Yeah.
Right there. I'll try to. Is it hard to do?
No, it's not.
Okay.
And I think everyone should go and revisit it, watch it, and just pay attention to the words he's saying and the faces he's making, because I was already working in Hollywood at the time, so I kind of understood like a little bit where their priorities truly are. But I was still a little bit like, well, I want to make cartoons, I want to direct one day, and whatever. I watched Bob Iger just be like, this is my translation of what he said. It's not like we care either way. It doesn't really matter to us, but whatever makes the left happy, because they will cancel us. So whatever makes them happy. And conservatives, we know you will buy our bullshit no matter what we do, so fuck you.
Yeah. I'm not even worried.
Yeah.
Because they say all this stuff, but then they go to the Disney parks, they buy the Disney products, they watch our movies.
Yeah. And that's like the very first instance I was like, that's kind of hilarious. Hilariously evil. And like, to me, evil is not what people like villainous behavior. It's more just like not caring behavior, apathy. And he literally was like, I will say and do whatever it is you want me to say and do to get you to like me and to get you to like Disney. And then I was like, well, that's in a way kind of what you want in a CEO. That's a CEO doing a good job being a CEO. But that's the first instance. So I was like, oh, would you look at that? And then, so I thought, wow, we are really good. We as artists and people in Hollywood, the business people and the artists, to be honest, working together, are really good at hypnotizing people, because it convinced me, this past year has convinced me that like literally Disney can be as like openly villainous, like comedically mustache twirling,
like a Bond villain,
and you the audience, you the consumer, doesn't care. Because of the China camp debacle thing. Like Disney and the credits of Mulan thanked the people who run Chinese concentration camps, China's concentration camps, and like everyone threw a big fit. And then no one cared because they still bought Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian.
And And then not only that, because we're really good at what we do, you all freaked out about a fake version of Luke Skywalker. Nerds cried. They were like, oh, Luke is back. Luke is back. This is always what I wanted from Star Wars. And then the same people who criticized Star Wars, who criticized Disney, period, for having the China camps, immediately went, oh, thank you, Lord, thank you. I'm so glad a fake version of Luke is here to placate. Like, Disney is like so good at placating my nostalgia.
Yeah.
That was one of those moments where I was like, as soon as everyone bought the whole like, oh, Luke is back, the Star Wars is saved bullshit, I was like, oh, there's no hope for any of you. Like, Disney knows how to fucking like pull every one of you.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? So everyone's like, oh, let's cancel Disney Plus. What happens then when Disney's like, oh, we're gonna have X-Men with our Marvel characters now? In our Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's everything you've ever wanted. And what are you going to do? Are you going to drop your panties? Or are you going to say no? No, seriously.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just like, because I know you're not going to say no. You're going to watch the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
You will. And just seeing how all of you reacted to Luke was like our like the people we know who work in this are just too good.
Yeah.
They're just too fucking good at this.
Good. Like, we come from that. So we have friends we know who, like, we can criticize them all we want. I will never say they're not talented.
They are very good at what they do.
We are very, like, you laugh. People who are not creative or who've never worked in Hollywood might laugh when I say, like, we're really good at hypnotizing you. But, like, we did it. We made you forget about the whole China camp thing. And then you bought Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian, got upset over Gina Carano so many times, and then it was all okay because they brought Luke back. And then everyone was talking about it. And it's like, when people say, like, the left controls the culture, this is why. If you are not willing to cancel this and never get it back again, and not only that, to, like, just not even talk about it. Be like, it doesn't even matter. It's not important. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to talk about it.
Not a peep.
And, like, literally, there are, 34 million of you? We know this for a fact now. There are 74. There are 74 million of you. 75? 74 to 75?
Half of the country, basically.
Imagine how much power that is, but, like, you don't know it. You don't know. All you have to do is not be hypnotized, but I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
Because the people we know who
are good.
Really good.
Because we bet you, and, like, this is going around now.
Yeah.
But, like, cancel Gina, whatever, fire her,
it's
whatever.
It's the hottest I've ever seen the vitriol for Disney. It's so hot.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
Cancel Disney Plus, whatever. Everyone wants to cancel it. A few months from now, they're going to do something.
They're going to do something. And they know.
Yeah, they know.
They know. They have a plan. Trust us. They have a plan. And it truly is up to you. Are you going to say no, or are you going to buy their bullshit?
Yeah. It's
and like I'll talk about myself. Like, I know it's really harsh. We're like really like laying on all of you because, you know, it's hard. I love Star Wars too. I was raised with Star Wars too. I love this property, but as soon as they fucked me, I don't want to have anything to do with that shit. Yeah. I understand, and we're not like mad at you. Really, truly, we're not mad at you because we know it's hard.
Yeah.
Nostalgia is really hard to break. So, for example, Janet, how did I react when Disney Plus dropped Peter Jackson's trailer for the Beatles movie about Let It Be?
You were like, we need to get Disney Plus. I have to watch this. I have to. Like, it was just a trailer, and you're like, I have to. And I got so mad.
It looks so fucking good, guys. Guys, it looks so fucking good.
No, see.
And then I showed my brother, and then he was like, I need to watch that.
Who's a Zoomer?
Well, I mean, everybody loves the Beatles, but like that's the thing. That's the like. Okay, so I bring this point across because like Disney has everything. Like, imagine saying no to this magical monster that can literally make any of your dreams come true, but it's a dream that you've seen before. That's the caveat for this villain. And all of you are being hypnotized, and all of you have to do all of you has to do is just turn it off and make your own thing. That's all you have to do.
Or just support like the independent creators.
Support the people who are, at least.
It's not hard, but it seems like it is.
But like, I understand, because the Beatles is huge. The market share for Beatles is huge. I'm a late millennial. My brother is a Zoomer. Like, but we all love the Beatles. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, babe, we need to step into the dark side. And it was like Disney, like it was like the villainous Disney monster going into my brain, going
like, give us your $30 more, please.
My sweet love, can we download Disney Plus so I can watch the Beatles documentary?
I was like, excuse me? Do you know who I am?
Can you give out the reaction, though? At least just give out the reaction of me watching the trailer.
You're so excited. Yeah. You like screamed. And
so whatever passion that all of you felt for Luke, seeing Luke in all his fake CG glory again, I was freaking out over this Beatles thing.
Yeah.
And and I understand, it's hard. It's like, it truly is like a villainous being that shows you all of the dreams you wish you could have had as a youngster. But you have to say no, and we all have to say it was a fun 10, 15 years of, rehashing the good old days, but we need to step into the unknown now. Yeah. It's time.
Like to I guess better illustrate how good we are at our jobs at hypnotizing you, the fact that like we can get you to be sexually attracted to a fictional cartoon character,
something that doesn't even exist.
We did that. Like, we designed that. Or like, it's just, we know how to give you exactly what you want before you want it. So when you see it, you're like, I need it, take my money. And that's like what we're trained to do. The saddest part is like, the artists are the ones who are good at it. The business people are the ones who know how to put it in front of your eyes. So it's not like we know how to like market it to you. They will know. They'll be like, you do the work, we will make it happen. Put it in front of people, and they're just gonna like love the thing that you made. All of this negativity to get Gina fired for her tweet is making her tweet look more and more accurate.
Yes.
It's kind of sad. Instead of like hashtag cancel Disney Plus, because we know you're not gonna do it for very long. Come on.
Come on.
Maybe do hashtag Gina was right.
At least that.
Yeah.
Gina is right.
Is right,
Gina
yeah.
is right. How about hashtag Gina is right?
Because I was talking about the geniusness of this hashtag. People who have no idea what's going on are going to try to look up
who's Gina and why is she right?
Yeah. So more people are going to see that tweet. I think that's why hashtag Gina was right should go viral. But no. But still, cancel Disney Plus.
Now that we're here in this position where... so now that we talked about the whole Gina thing, let's start from the very beginning of 2020. Let's go through Disney's greatest L's of 2020.
Okay.
The greatest L's of 2020. Where shall we start?
So let's start with right before I quit. And we noticed around the time I was about to quit that like Star Wars Land in Disneyland, California, wasn't doing well in the news. Like, no one wanted to go there.
If you showed that to anybody back in like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, they'd freak out. But I didn't understand why people didn't go. What was it? Was it not advertised properly? Were there not enough attractions? Or is the brand starting like... don't you think there's a shelf life to Star Wars?
Yeah.
Maybe people are starting to get a little sick of this thing.
I mean,
and look at you spend all this money and all this property. You for what? For this thing that barely anybody went to.
Yeah, it's really sad. And like we can speculate on a lot. I think it's a combination of a lot of those things. When we went, there's not much to do.
No. I don't know. It was what it was. It felt like I was in a Star Wars place. But there wasn't much to do.
Yeah. So
we went to the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yeah. And that's about it.
That was whatever.
And then like the restaurants and stuff. Like
there wasn't much to do.
performances. Yeah.
I like Harry Potter Land better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place
and
is
it's
dope.
just as small.
Yeah, it's just as small. And it's just like 1 million more times more interesting.
Yeah.
The butter beer, the little roller coasters, the food. It's awesome.
And the interactive wand
Oh
stuff.
yeah, the wand where you pick the wand.
Yeah.
The Wizarding World is 10 times better than that Star
And
Wars
it's
bullshit.
honestly not even that great.
I don't know, man. The butter beer is great.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
That's about it. But it could also be like the strength of the brand too, because I remember telling you I don't have the sad affliction that you guys have of these rosy colored lenses of nostalgia, because I didn't grow up with Star Wars. And I was like, they're releasing a movie a year. You're gonna get real sick of that.
And I was like, no, you don't understand. This is like the new thing. We're gonna know what happens after Jedi, man. This is like a whole new. Oh no, don't give me a copyright strike.
Yeah, and then you were like, you don't know. You're not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't understand. This is gonna be forever, babe. You'll see.
Yeah, and then I was like, And then literally, even you, biggest Star Wars nerd ever, is like a little bit fatigued. Like actually very fatigued.
Not a little bit. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like you destroyed my I can't even watch the old Star Wars. Like Disney just destroyed my impression of Star Wars. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
I don't like the only thing I have that's pure in my heart is anime. And like I'm desperate for no one for at least Disney. Oh, by the way, they're making like I don't know some anime fucking version of Star Wars. It's a little upsetting for me as a grandpa anime fan because I could clearly tell this has nothing to do with Star Wars or anime or whatever. This is market share.
Yeah.
Like Disney clearly knows they don't have jack shit anime properties, and Disney knows that anime is up on the popularity rise. It's like anime is the culture now.
Yeah.
And Disney's like, we've always hated anime. We've always told people not to draw like anime. I know. Let's make a Star Wars anime.
We're totally all about anime. We
totally loved anime from the beginning. We always loved anime.
We're totally about the 10 to 17-year-old age demographic.
Sure.
And then the third reason why I think it probably failed was Disney's branding is very, very, very specific. One, they're targeted towards families. Their number 2 priority is targeted towards little girls because they became Disney off of princess movies. So
also think about the merchandise, the dresses, the Halloween costumes, the toys, all of that stuff. It's huge.
So when you go to Disneyland full of like Cinderella's castle, Sleeping Beauty's castle, like all these princess, lots of little girls dressed like trying to take pictures with like, I don't know, Rapunzel, whatever. And then there's Star Wars Land, kind of geared for the complete opposite audience. I wonder why it didn't do so well.
Would you say that it's not the brightest move for Disney to keep like eating up all these different market shares because they just dilute everything?
Yeah.
Like their core thing was like fun action adventure animations and Disney princess movies, and then the parks, and then the toys. It was never about like the boys.
Yeah.
That's what I always imagined DreamWorks was more about, like more of like true action event. Like DreamWorks would get a little bit more their jokes were a little edgier, and the action scenes were closer to PG-13, that type of thing.
I think like I mean, just think about what the experience you get at Disneyland versus the experience you get at like Universal Studios. Like completely different age demographic. There's a reason why more older people like Universal Studios versus like Disneyland's kind of known to where families go to give their children like a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, and like you think Disneyland is like the best. You think Disneyland's the best theme park? Not in October, baby. In October, when Universal Studios Hollywood does their Halloween shit, it's like the quality of what they do for the Halloween attractions is movie level. Like that's sort of like the appeal.
Yeah.
It's like they take it to that degree so that when you're like walking through the set of The Thing or Stranger Things, you feel like you're in the movie or you're in the property.
And it's for teenagers. It's like for you to go on a date and like
and that's the thing.
Like
that's Disney. Like Disney's trying to cover their blind spots.
Yeah.
And it just simply doesn't work. Yeah. Like Disney, you're known for this fantastic thing, but like you're pushing Star Wars and Hawk and Falcon, and it's just like this isn't you, man.
Yeah.
And like this I don't know what the hell the new Disney animated Freya. Frahaya?
What?
Frahaya.
I don't know.
Freyana? Freya?
Raya?
Raya.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. It did not have an F at all.
What? They kind of... Wait, what? Raya.
Yeah.
Yes. Raya.
Yeah, so I could already kind of see the writing on the wall right before I was going to quit. So I was like, this is a very great opportune moment for me to quit. I see some bad things coming in the near future.
And then I think I was taking a poop one day, and then I was making my rounds on the Twitters, and then I saw Ricky Gervais' speech.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember you were doing something, and I just screamed at the top of my lungs. I was like, oh my God! And then we both watched it, and then every single criticism we have, Ricky Gervais just laid down.
Yeah. And I was like, don't listen to me. Listen to Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there could be enough people like me and Ricky Gervais to just be like, this is how it is. Like, why don't you believe me? So I made my Why I Quit My Job video. And then immediately after, my coworkers and my friends canceled me. Everyone said I'm going to be blacklisted.
Everyone said, there's so many experiences.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different kinds of experiences.
Like the one that we're going to talk about later in this podcast. But so many experiences. Hers is just one of them. And then...
oh, we're recruiting, by the way. Here's how you recruit to our studio. Here's a link right here.
And I was like, you made that bet, and I made my bet. Let's see who's right. I made a pretty big bet there. And then Bob Iger leaves. He had the same idea as me. He was...
Not only does Jan leave, a few months later, Bob Iger leaves. It's like, Daddy leaves all of you. And you're like, what? Don't worry. Mr. Clean's here to save the day. Bob Chapek, who runs, let me check here, Disney Parks, is going to run Disney now.
Very odd choice, in my opinion. Very odd, but okay.
That you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like a very, very they didn't plan that. They're like, there's nothing planned about any of that.
Yeah.
There's like it seems reactionary.
Yeah.
And like 2 months later, Corona legit happened. So
I also
we're not saying there's, but I don't know, you know what I mean?
I mean, these people, they have a pulse on what's happening globally because they have to.
Yeah. So Bob Iger abandons all of you at Disney.
Yep. And then the stocks fall. Oh,
yes, your stocks fall. That's right.
And everyone is starting to be like, what's happening to Disney right now? People I think still haven't realized that Disney is not in a great place right now.
It hasn't become truly like glaringly obvious to them yet.
But I think maybe then, at least it was obvious to me at that point, but like maybe to some other people it finally became obvious as Disney stocks fall. Meanwhile, I'm starting to make money. I'm like somehow managing to meet my cost of living, and like it's only the first few months of me doing this thing.
I think after the first few months, the YouTube money paid for our groceries. Imagine if your groceries were paid for. You would never have to worry about where the money from groceries comes from ever again.
You can put food on the table at least.
Not worry about it.
At least have a few $100s every month. It's a lot more than most people have.
And but you know, it's slow, but it was steadily rising. But at this time, we were like, wow, hey, $100. Not bad.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
And then quickly after that, Disneyland like officially closes because of quarantine. And that sucks. That's really bad for Disney.
Yeah, man.
Meanwhile, my channel is really starting to grow. Like really, like in the fall up till now, especially, like it's really starting to grow. And I'm like, wow, look at that. While Disneyland is shut down, I am somehow managing to grow.
Right. So what happened was we had like a super duper like I don't know. We shot up to like 5K fairly quickly, and then we started to stagnate. Because we knew this. We always knew this. Like, like if we have a viral hit, like it's really hard to do these, and no fucking way am I gonna have the energy to do the fucking YouTube rat race of like chasing viral hits or whatever.
It's not something I planned or
Neither
wanted.
of us wanted. So we were like, okay, well then eventually this is going to plateau, and then we're really going to have to be responsible for making up more followers.
So I felt like once we hit 5K because of the virality, I knew the starting point, like even though it looks like I had 5K, it was more like I had like 0 or like a few hundred at the time.
Yeah, because the ratio of people watching to the followers, there's a discrepancy.
Right? Like people who followed me because of specifically they wanted more why I quit videos, like expose drama video, and I was just like, I don't know why you followed me for that. And so I like it was slow at first, but like I knew that. Like I didn't look at 5K and was like, I somehow gained this. I was like, no, I just minus 5K. That's what my actual numbers are. And then Disney, like I said, felt for some reason so able to openly be comically villainous, mustache twirling villainous, by thanking the Chinese people who were in charge of the concentration camps.
Yeah, the Chinese Communist Party. Just openly, in the credits of Mulan. And I remember, so you've been to the Museum of Tolerance, right?
Yeah.
When you were young?
I think we're all forced to.
Everyone, oh my gosh, I forgot where it is. Somewhere in Beverly, I think. But like pretty much every school has to visit there to,
Southern California.
Yeah, to school the youngsters about, history. And we were told that this kind of stuff, never going to happen again. This kind of stuff in the 20th century... kidding me? This is never gonna. This is a long time ago. This is barbaric shit that we're never ever going to go back to. And I was like, okay, I'm glad, because this is terrifying. Like going in, it's terrifying in there. It's fucking like it's designed to be. It's supposed to be. It's a terrifying chapter in our humanity, I guess, if you could say it, if you want to call it that. But like it's a terrifying experience. And then you're told that like, but don't worry, this isn't going to happen again.
I will never forget that experience of stepping into, I don't know if it's like a real gas chamber.
I think it's mocked after a
replica,
real one. Yeah.
And just like that will
terrifying.
forever be in my mind. I think I went as like a 4th grader, 5th grader, maybe in middle school even, and I was like,
for me a 6 or 7.
This forever. I now know how to paint a gas chamber and how to depict the horror of that because of that experience.
Yeah, it's, you're stepping in there, and I remember there's like, I don't know. They really make it. They put like sound effects and stuff. It's almost like a theme park, like attraction. Not no disrespect or anything, but like they really, want you to empathize, right?
Yeah.
So that's just a heavy experience that us Los Angeles people. I'm sure I don't know. Is there more museums like that? Well, that's just something people in a lot of schools in Los Angeles do, and we're told this type of stuff. But then I'm like looking at political Twitter, and then you see footage, pictures of these people who are gaunt, just like the black and white pictures that you saw back in the day. And I clearly thought, I remember clearly being told like this isn't going to happen in our lifetimes ever again. And I'm seeing it happen, yet no one's talking about it. I don't know. Just that's my perspective on this. It's like such a this whole past, I don't know, year, I'd say, is just like a whole restructuring of what I've believed in. I've always believed in, for example, that this barbaric kind of shit wouldn't happen. To what end? That we have the internet. Why are people in I don't understand. But I saw the footage, so it's like these people who are making a drama out of the stuff going on in China. They're not I've seen it, so they're not making this shit up just to own the left, because I don't know why Disney or Dilo Biden has so many ties to China, but I just don't know why people are dismissing this. This is the footage that you see of this horrendous shit is just it's like World War II in color, and it's sad. World War II in HD, and that shouldn't I was told this shouldn't belong in our century. But none of you will do anything. None of you will do anything. So yes, keep buying the Disney toys. Let's keep, as soon as Disneyland open up, and Hollywood's so great. Let's just trick all the young students to become workers for Hollywood, to brainwash everybody. Let's just continue on to this stuff, because nobody's gonna do anything about anything.
Because when Mulan came out and that happened, I went immediately They didn't. Why? So openly. It's like they don't care, and they don't. But then I went on Twitter and I was wondering what people were saying about it. And for the most part, a lot of people were just tweeting the Mulan emoji thing that makes little animations on Twitter during the. I was like, literally no one cares.
Yeah.
Other than the people who love shitting on the establishment, everyone else literally did not care. And so I was like, oh. So, and then what disappointed me even further was you're so willing to criticize this, but then you bring Luke back in the Mandalorian and everything's fine.
So that was the biggest thing that I was just gut punched. That I was like, oh, so it looks like people are finally starting to wake up that Disney is a bunch of fucking bastards over there, just totally cool with atrocities. But no, as soon as Disney was like, oh, we got you, Luke, CG Luke, and all the nerds are like, yeah, CG Luke, yes, yay, I love CG Luke. Atrocities, what? Oh, but CG Luke, yes.
Yeah. Oh, but then quickly afterwards, I found out that Disney Plus isn't doing so well, because they have a lot of churn, which means a lot of people subscribe and then unsubscribe. Also,
there was a huge subscriber base based on promotional stuff.
Yeah, free.
Oh, free!
Well, they weren't buying it.
X amount of time for and then as soon as time's up, bye.
Yeah, and in one of my YouTube videos, I forgot which one. I think it's the Why You Should Start a YouTube Channel video that I did at the beginning of the year. I was doing some research into what people were watching during the pandemic, and I was really shocked. I was really shocked that everyone's numbers went up a little bit, but because of the way people talk about Disney Plus, the way people talk about Netflix, I honestly thought to find people Netflix and Disney Plus and those streaming platforms, because they have this marketing power behind them, were going to be at the top. Everyone started watching Netflix like crazy. Was actually YouTube. Number one out of everything was actually YouTube.
And wouldn't you know, in the very first episode of the vlog, we have this scene, this little mukbang scene where you're eating Korean food. Mm-hmm. And I asked you, where's the industry headed? and then you said something like, it's not headed to Netflix, it's not headed to Disney, whatever Disney streaming service is. It's heading straight to YouTube.
Yeah, I said that. I saw, and like, this was a prediction. Like, I didn't know, but I don't know, good at observing people's behavior and what I personally like. And normally, I don't like to say that we are good at predicting things, but we tend to be ahead of the curve in terms of trends. Because we're artists and we pay attention to trends and what people want.
Case in point, I want you to talk about Billie Eilish and Murakami.
So Murakami, we were into Murakami like early, and honestly, people weren't into him until he did Kanye's album. But then, what's interesting is Kanye made Murakami famous. Murakami then acknowledges the power of musicians have on culture. And Murakami, being an artist, knows how to pick them. He knows who is going to be next. So he works with Billie Eilish right as she's blowing up. And I was just kind of like, that's smart. Because no one's ever going to give a shit about us artists. Like, that's just how it is. We're kind of in the background and it's fine. We make the content, other people benefit from it.
That's the contract.
Yeah, and because he wanted to increase his fame, power, money, whatever it is, he was like, I need another Kanye. And he saw another Kanye in Billie Eilish.
This, in the sense that like this artist who has great influence and really appealing music to the new generation of people, a whole new generation of people, separate from all the other artists he worked for, like Kanye.
Because like Kanye has made Murakami famous. He's made Cause famous. Literally anyone who ever does Kanye's album covers, you want that.
Yeah,
you want that as
you just
an
win
artist.
at life.
Yeah. Like Cause is basically me before me. Like Kanye. Hire me. I don't know. He's not gonna hire me. But so like there have been so many things that we've been on top of a year or 2 years before it's become true. So a lot of times we think, oh, we're just wrong because it just doesn't come true, and then it comes true like a year or two later, multiple times.
It's like, oh, we were right. We were just way too early.
We were just early. So an example of that was like My Hero Academia.
Oh God, we were so early.
We were like, people think I started doing My Hero fan art like last year. No, I did it, like my first one was like
2015.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
2015 or 16, like right when it came out. Because I told the story of like I saw a picture of Naruto and all these other classic shonen characters just basically, going like, oh, you're one of us.
Yeah,
the next
and we
one
were
of us.
like, this is the next Naruto.
Yeah.
This is the next
and that's the big deal.
shonen.
This type of stuff, when a new shonen anime, there's Dragon Ball Z, and then there's Naruto, and then now there's My Hero. Like, that kind of stuff happens very rarely.
Yeah, and just like how I did the why I quit my job at Disney before I got canceled. Like, everyone laughed at me for doing it. Like, oh, you're making an awful decision. Why would you do that? I would love to work at Disney. Now it's suddenly become a little bit popular to shit on Disney.
Oh, you want to read some of these tweets? One day I was having breakfast with Janet, and then I was just trolling the old twats, and then I found this tweet of Side by Side, I think, The Jungle Book, and another movie, I forget. But basically, animation recycle. I mean, people were making a big old hubbub about it.
Yeah.
But to us, it's like, oh, budget.
Yeah.
Come on.
Budget.
Oh, okay. So it's Winnie the Pooh and Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And it's basically, copy and paste animation.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a way it's half and half right now. So like the first tweet is like, well, that explains a lot. It's particularly amusing seeing all the sheep ITT, I don't know what that means, defend this. Japan and China really are the better countries.
on Twitter.
And then someone being like, there was a lot of reused animation back then, and then giving like a little history lesson on animation. And then just a lot of people being like, wait till you see this Kimba, not Disney, versus Lion King comparison. So it's like, people would not do this a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like you would get laughed at so hard if
people worship Disney.
Yeah.
People worship Disney like nothing in the world, nothing else in the world. It's just like, remember when we talked about, it wasn't like always like this. Disney barely started getting popular again in the beginning of the last decade.
Yeah.
Disney was just laughable. Like they didn't make anything worthwhile after the 90s until Tangled.
Yeah. We really, like us, when we were coming up and we were hypnotized by Hollywood and we wanted to work, my dream studio was not Disney. It was DreamWorks.
My dream, for me it was DreamWorks too.
Yeah. DreamWorks really stole my heart from a very young age, and then like they had dragons around the time I was in college. So I was like,
awesome.
Yeah. So I was like,
awesome.
I want to be part of that. Disney really made a huge comeback. Like they went into a little hole. They like regrouped. They were like nothing is working. Everyone doesn't like the stuff we were making, and then
Lasseter comes along.
Yeah, makes Tangled great. They acquire Marvel and Star Wars, make Frozen, and then it's just like a never-ending cycle, I guess.
Disney's Renaissance comeback only lasted 10 years, and the thing about it was like they were getting so much energy like we've never seen before, and you thought, and you told your coworkers even on DuckTales that like, I think the bigger they are, the harder they fall. This bubble, it's about to burst.
Yeah, I said that, and then no one believed me. Absolutely no one. And I was like, get out. I'm getting out in a few months. Get out. Meanwhile, like a year later, I'm doing great. Like, income-wise, I was really scared. I mean, everyone has the fear of like when you're quitting something that has been in your life for a while. You're used to a certain thing, and then you are scared of the unknown. I think there's no getting rid of the fear, it's dealing with it. And for me, it's really crazy. It's really crazy to see my income now.
Yeah, man. We had a whole discussion last night about how we're a little scared.
Yeah.
It feels uncomfortable. You had this great analogy or something of it always felt like pushing or making a snowball and pushing it up a hill, and now the snowball is rolling down the hill and it's pushing us down the hill.
Yeah. And it's moving on its own now.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it's increasing on its own. Like, it's not just moving on its own, it's like getting bigger. Without me really having to do anything different. So it's not like however much I work from a day-to-day basis per week, it's not like I suddenly worked double the amount to make double the money. It's just happening.
Yeah, it's just happening. The most we've done is just upgrade the things so the show looks great. Yeah. I mean, like, we started for very small, one small little dinky camera, no lights, no good sound other than this big ass mixer that we used for the podcast. But that's all we had. But we slowly acquired stuff, and now here we are. And I could only imagine where we'd be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years
from now. Yeah,
honestly, with the way... What's the rate in which the income is growing? Because at this rate, I just don't think, like... I think you'd match your income by the end of the year.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
income at Disney, I mean, making money at DuckTales.
So because I am me, I have no problem making humongous goals that are impossible just because I just want that impossible goal to chase after. Not that like it will upset me if I don't meet that goal. So I was like, you know what? It would be great if I could get 100K in a year. And then, that didn't happen. But I think I was more specific in my niche. But the problem I have with doing that is like I'd rather grow slow rather than be pigeonholed into literally one topic and have to make video after video after
for the
video
rest of your life.
for just that. I like making vlogs. I like being a little bit more experimental occasionally. Even if other people do, I left Disney for me.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly why I can do whatever I want. And then physically, you showed me a picture of me from like a year ago or a few years ago.
Yeah. Oof.
And
Not so good.
I was like,
You look like shit.
yeah. I was like, you can see how depressed I was and how unhappy I was in my weight, in your face. In my face.
Yeah.
Like there's something about it that I was like, oh my God, as much as you try to hide it, everyone
we can see
knows
it.
you are depressed and unhappy. And I was depressed and unhappy. And it was affecting me physically. And I looked at that picture and I was like, I look younger. I look different. Yeah. I can't even put myself in those shoes anymore. And I was like, wow, I've changed.
You
I've changed.
You changed, bro.
Physically, I've changed just by being in a happier place. And then mentally, again, with the whole income thing, at the beginning, I honestly, this is what I thought after I quit. I was like, I'm gonna take this slow. I've been really tired working for the man for like 4 years straight with no vacations and just depressed. And then I'm gonna like make my first video and I'm just gonna take it easy for like a month. And then like it blows up and I'm like, well, gotta make the most of this, I guess.
Yeah, we had to accelerate our plans by 5 or 7 months. We were gonna slowly ramp up to a lot of work, but we're like, okay, looks like we have to have a podcast. You have to do your business advice shit and all this stuff right now. Right now.
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim. Art Center, do or die.
Yeah.
Woo!
Do or die.
Do or die.
And I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants a little bit. But for the most part in control because I had made like really extensive plans of what I wanted to accomplish in this first year. So I had a plan. But again, because like now that I got the engine rolling and I keep feeling like I completely underestimated my own abilities to be effective. And I am just kind of like, now that the business is moving on its own in a lot of ways, and I feel like I had been dragging this thing along. You know, I was like, I kind of expected this for at least like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. But now that it feels like it's pushing me along. Like it feels like it's dragging me along now, and I have to graduate from being somewhere between an S and a B, like we talked about in the last episode, to becoming a full-on B. And it's like it requires me to grow now. It's like the business is fine. It's like I now need to develop myself personally to become the kind of person that
to be a leader
to grow this thing.
Right.
So that's exciting.
Oh, so exciting.
So that all to say, I made the right decision.
Yay! Let's clap our hands.
Yay.
Janet's a free woman. A free woman. Away from the mouse.
And I can say I was right about a lot of things.
Yeah, man,
a lot of things.
Well, a lot of videos just look so bad now. Like a lot of
for other people.
Yeah, a lot of videos just totally look like especially the ones shilling for the industry.
Oh yeah, I
like,
made the right bet.
You made the right bet, and you made everyone else look bad. I'd hate to be everyone else right now. Yikes. Whew.
So this all to lead up to the story that I had interesting feelings about this past week. Like we've noticed that the quartering has shifted the way he talks about Hollywood a little bit, and he doesn't get it right all the time in like what hurts their ego the most, but you're getting it more right than before.
Oh yeah.
A lot more right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when you attack their ego, you're doing it exactly in the way that hurts, and I applaud you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
quartering.
But this one, Joss Whedon is currently getting canceled by his previous
Co-workers, actors who worked under him on Buffy.
Because one actress comes out with her experience, honestly echoing a lot of my experiences in the industry as well, and I thought it was interesting in a lot of ways, in that like this doesn't typically happen, even though like there's a lot of weird things that I guess you can't deny it's weird that she's bringing this up like 20 years later, however many years later. You can't deny that some of the word choices seem hyperbolic or my truth or, you know, that kind of thing. It feels a little like, what are you getting out of this? What are you doing? But at the end of the day, what she and her co-stars, co-workers, supporting her and also like coming out with their own stories, that's a big deal too. Because look what happened to me. Look what happened to me a year ago. Just a year ago. Like, there still were a lot of shills. There still were a lot of people who want to say there are many experiences.
So many.
Ignore her experience. And like that's just something that does not happen in Hollywood.
Imagine speaking out against like being a part of Jim Jones' cult and like leaving and speaking out against the cult, or being a part of North Korea and then speaking out against North Korea. That's a big deal. People want your head when you speak out against the cathedral.
Especially if you had benefited from it at a certain point. They're like,
you're one of us, how dare you?
Yeah, they will, like we've seen time and time again in the past year, that Hollywood does not stand up for itself. So when I saw this, I mean, it's not like they're standing up for Joss Whedon either, but, you know, goes to show you, they do not stand up for themselves. And, you know, other than all of the weirdness behind her statement, I was like, this is real. Like in terms of like what she's saying, the details of what she was saying, and like I know Jeremy's criticism is that like Joss just sounds like an asshole.
Like he's like, oh, he's just like every other boss.
Yeah, and I'm like,
but our Hollywood is working for Hollywood really like working for everywhere else.
No, so like, I know the way I come across when I say this, but like, unless you've worked in Hollywood, I don't think you can truly understand. Because I've had other jobs. Like, actors have had other jobs too. Actors have waitressed, they had retail jobs. Like, people who worked in Hollywood, it's not like their first gig ever. They're not like elite millennials who don't know how normal jobs are most of the time. Maybe they've forgotten, but like I've worked at a retail job in the mall before. Like I know how people are. There's a certain level of assholery that is normal
in every job. Doesn't matter if you work service industry or social media marketing. There's just like just people just trying to get ahead, and that's fine. That's life.
The difference is Hollywood has ego that you just don't understand. You just don't. Like when people come up to you and ask for your autograph and bow before you.
What does that do to your mind? What does that
do to you?
Like ask Seth Rogen, what does that do to your fucking mind, man?
So when you say like it just sounds like typical slimeball behavior, what would you expect from Hollywood? No, you don't understand. You don't like
we talk about all the time. Even you, Jeremy. Like these are a special bunch of people. They're a special bunch of people. They're a special bunch of people.
So when they're still dealing with some of the like, I don't know what you want to call it, PTSD from like the experience. Yes, it's in a way it's hyperbole, but like in a way it's not too. It's like you can laugh at it and you can say like, yeah, I had a really bad experience on this show, haha, but like you remember it. You're never gonna forget it. You're always gonna be like, oh, this person, just want to like
punch them.
Punch them. But you're not. You're not. So I thought that was interesting. That, like, Hollywood is turning on itself. You know, I think it's important to acknowledge that this is happening, and to, I guess, in a way, we will never know her true motive. And I think when I came out with my video...
You will never know Janet's.
Yeah, there are always going to be people who will question your motives. Yeah. And in my opinion, it's not my priority to convince you. It's, I don't know, believe me or don't believe me. I don't
just
care.
Speak your piece, right?
Yeah. If you think I'm trying to manipulate you into buying something, like, okay, then leave. I don't know. But I also, like, I acknowledge that, like, it does seem a little bit like #MeToo, but, like, with this new, it's like they know that, like, it's popular now to shit.
That's what I was talking to you about. Like, I'm afraid that this, like, is just going to become this hyper awareness. For example, we never talked about what was happening in Wall Street, but, like, what's happening with Wall Street, it's like it's just become so obvious to everybody that people are mad, and people are taking it out on the people who have been lecturing them for 4 years. It's just as simple as that.
So there will be people who will take advantage of that, like to grift in a way.
Grift. Yeah. So be aware of that.
Yeah. So it's good that, like, your spidey senses are tingling, because mine were. But at the end of the day, I was kind of like, I don't know. If you want to go really hard on these people who are dragging up things from decades ago, and you don't really believe it, because of your bias, because of you don't trust Hollywood people or celebrities, I get it.
But you're no better than the left.
Yeah, basically just say, like, eat the rich.
Yeah.
All the millionaires and the billionaires.
Or you're a bunch of bad people.
Yeah, because they're like, you can villainize me. Like, I worked in Hollywood, but, like, I'm nowhere near as, like, powerful on the ladder as, like, some of these people who really develop these crazy egos and ways of behaving, or like this, like, when she said, like, he threatened to fire me all the time, and what that does to a young actor's mind. Truly, like, living in the instability of Hollywood and having your boss threaten you with firing you,
and everything rides on this, like, kind of like hard to it's hard to put a finger on talent.
Yeah,
it's hard to measure talent, so you're just constantly afraid and feeling like you're an imposter.
Yeah, and, like, it's different when Jeremy says, like, oh, it's like at will employment or whatever, but it's also like people give up their entire lives to do that, though. They, like, moved they broke it off with their family. They moved to LA. They were, like, waitressing. They don't want to go back to waitressing, and, like,
they literally give themselves no other option.
Yeah, they love it. This is their dream. They will do anything.
Say anything.
Be here.
Yeah.
And then your showrunner is like, you're fat. I'm going to fire you. Are you going to get rid of it? Like, Jesus. And I was just kind of like, yeah, sounds like Hollywood. Honestly, it does sound.
I mean, I didn't really get that shock. I was just like, oh, God, I can't believe that's out in the public to hear. That's like, whoa.
I love that it's out for the public to hear, and I think it's important, these stories. And that brings us to our recommendation for this week. We watched this really interesting YouTube video called Why Do Corporate Art Styles Feel Fake?
Very, very good video.
By Solar Sands.
I want to say, haven't seen a video this, like, high quality since Every Frame, which is, like, I hope the highest praise I could possibly give you. So, fantastic video.
And I really like it because I have also worked in the motion design / commercial advertising sphere.
He was wrong about nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and you were like, I bet he's not going to talk about this. I bet he's not going to talk about this, and he does every time. And it's just like, you were just impressed. It's a very, very good video.
Yeah, and, like, I have nothing against that art style because, especially the school we come from, we have a lot of friends, graphic designer type people who really, I mean, that's their style. They like that, and it's easy to animate in After Effects. All that stuff. It's a beautiful style. The problem is it has subconsciously become representative of corporations. The punk, fuck the man thing is actually
it's
coming
coming back.
And again, we're usually ahead of the curve. So I don't expect to really see these sentiments in the mainstream in maybe like 3 years.
Yeah.
But I was just like, watch this. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a great critique on how art and real life work together.
Yeah, well researched. I love how at the end he gave a recommendation of just like, if you love this, like I know I've been like, you know, like heavily criticizing it for 10 minutes, but here's this other style I think is beautiful. It's related. It's just like, oh
yeah, like that Kurzgesagt style. In my opinion, is the exact same thing, but it is beautiful. It's like this detailed. So if this podcast episode, if you like this episode, check out these other videos over here. To binge our other episodes, head over to honeyandabsinthe.com to buy our merch. Every purchase helps this channel, and I'm currently wearing the Cat Demon bomber jacket today. All right, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.